Okay.
All right, we're back. Um. So yeah, you've delivered a baby. You're covered in cow blood and viscera.
Yep,
Um.
that's new. The baby thing. The rest of it has probably happened before.
I mean, babies are kind of
Mm-hmm.
definitionally new.
I kind of what?
Definitionally new.
Mm. Yeah,
I
true.
don't know, like what's the gestation period of a kobold? Because it's at least that new.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, you've got this wriggling, squirming little thing of. I think it doesn't have any fur, but it probably has some scales. Yep. Um, do we want to cut ahead to the next day? Where yeah,
everyone
Um,
else has kind of done their things that they were gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, the next day comes and the quartermistress like over breakfast says to Iago, when we have finished eating, I will which of your friends shall I take to see the shaman?
Does she say it in common?
I think she tends to speak to Iago in
No, that's legit. I'm just curious.
in Mogwai.
Because she's super rude and she doesn't want to include
Yeah,
us
'cause
in
she's
any
an
of her
asshole.
conversations.
I mean, she sees Iago as a fellow like trader. So she's like, oh, this person's my equal, and she feels and she seems to be a lot more like casual and at ease around Iago.
You forget. You guys are all,
Sorry, pardon.
y'all are tall to us.
I'm like 4 foot.
Yeah.
Okay, you're still at least a foot taller than us. 'Cause
That's
I'm
true.
3 feet and 1 inch.
Yeah.
That's true. We did very specifically establish that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, which of your friends would you like to go and like bring with you to see the shaman?
My shaman will come with me. As well as I point over to Raindrop.
Yeah, and she's like, very well. She's like, not your warrior.
No, this is a talk of spirits and magic.
Cool.
I mean, the warrior knows ghost stuff. But I don't know what conversation you're having. So I'm probably
Yes.
breakfast at
Everyone,
this point.
everyone but the academic wizard is invited to a conversation about magic.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
Solid decision making, fam.
That's why I said you can come.
No, as in Ashley's actually like got
Oh yeah.
some.
Yeah, we always make the mistake of thinking that Nephthys is like a warrior, but isn't Nephthys also?
Like a learned monk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I think I will say all of us will come.
Yep. Sure. Cool. So yeah, I just wanted to know whether or not you were keeping Raindrop out. That's what I wanted to know.
Fortunately, they tend to be more useful than harm.
Yeah. So,
Todd's just concerned about all the spells I'm inventing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
you have to roll for your spells.
That's it.
don't you?
Oh yeah.
I do have to roll for my spells because it's a new day,
Yep.
new raindrop.
And I've healed 1 point of my wound.
Yep.
I got 9.
Cool. So that gives me one.
Gives
hold.
you 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So yeah, I think the shaman was brought out to you from his tent. He has like big dark eye makeup. I think like and like a red stripe down his lips. And yeah, he's quite.
Is
old.
anything he is holding or carrying on his person magical?
Yeah, like all of the like beads and jewelry. So he's got like like gold rings in his ears with like big colorful beads and all of those sorts of things.
Do I get an impression of what kind of magic it is?
Do you want to roll for
Like,
that?
are the spirits bound to it, or
No, they are. Yeah, there's not spirits bound to it. They have magical enchantments on them.
so it's either a god's magic or it's some other person's magic.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's not stuff he's personally made. All right, cool.
But yes, he comes out and like he smiles with like a big wide wrinkly eye smile, and yeah, you see that he has probably no teeth.
I smile also.
Okay.
Can birds smile?
Yes, they smile with their eyes.
I smile with my eyes. I know about birds.
Yep. Yeah, they do this thing where they like, yeah, they kind of half close their eyes to smile. Yeah, so he comes out and he smiles at you at the group and says, I hear that. No, wait, that's not the voice that he has. Can I do his voice? I hear that you have saved one of ours. A youngling from the grips of an unfortunate death.
Sorry, Doug was making a fuss.
Yeah, doggo.
Hello, doggo.
When he says that, I just sort of like give him a little bow. That's all.
Yes, good. I see that you are practiced in the arts. And like, yeah, he's like, you've hey, Popper.
Sorry, dog noises.
Yeah, he says, I've been told that you have a desire to hear the secrets that I have gained. What do you want to know?
I like just let Iago like talk here.
So they're called the Golden Wheel?
Yep.
We are in search of the Gold Wheel.
Yeah, and he's like, I see. A swift entry into heaven can be found easily enough at the end of a blade.
We are looking for entry to heaven for one that is still here with us, but not in body.
It's like, yeah, and yeah, he looks amongst you. And
I think Nephthys has like the hookah in like
right.
in a satchel across her shoulders, so she like pulls it out and then pulls the ghost jar from the bag and puts it before us.
Yeah, and he
Raindrops
like,
side eyes the ghost real hard.
Yeah, and so he looks at it and like laughs a little. And yeah, it's like, what happened to you, my friend? Who were you to these people? And like the ghost can't really respond, and he's kind of asking it to the rest of you.
I bow and like present Nephthys.
Yeah, so Nephthys like brings the jar like forward right in front of the shaman. I don't know how big we're imagining these huts, but I imagine there's probably like part of my tail is outside.
I mean, we're outside. We're outside of the.
Oh, we're all outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still.
So yeah, she says he was my master back in the monastery. Tragic accident.
Yeah, and I think he laughs. And it's like, I see, the master has become the carried, the bound. That is, and yet you still serve him. Would you then do the work required to find your golden wheel?
Well, we didn't come many hundreds of miles into the middle of a desert for nothing.
He's like, very well. If you're prepared to do the work, then the spoils should be yours. He says, and like, yeah, he calls out in Mogwai to like some others and prepare a fire. We're going to send this snake into the sky. Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Raindrop raises their hand as well immediately.
I mean, he said that in Mogwai specifically. Because I don't think,
Okay.
because Nephthys doesn't know what he said either. But yeah, they start preparing a fire, and they pull out these somehow still green leaves. I think they're like kind of like eucalypts. And they
They're
start,
like what? Sorry.
like eucalypts.
Okay.
And yeah, and they start preparing this fire, and they get this fire going. It doesn't need to be big. It's just enough to make the eucalypts smoke. And yeah, and he's like, does anyone want to do anything while this like busy work is happening? Do you want to speak to him about anything, or?
I translate to Nephthys that he's going to allow you to ride the smoke. Yes, Raindrop?
Raindrop. I don't think that's what. I don't think that's the deal.
I hold up a finger. I say a few words in the voice of the quartermistress. I hold out my hands and I make the noise of sand falling, and then I presume at some point or another I have heard you use the word deal, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's 110% a thing you say all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And I say like a deal once made is bound or some shit in your voice, and look very unamused.
I say to you, I like shrug and I say, the living don't always work like that. I don't think we should push them.
You gave
I don't think, and then another person's voice, they should push another person's voice, us.
Again, I sort of like, I kind of shrug and I'm like, don't you trust Nephthys to look and see clearly and bring the information back?
I'll tell you everything.
I make the most like exaggerated bird eye rolling that I possibly can. Because like, of course, foolish party members, I'm not interested only in I want, like, there's other things one could see from up high, like, and I'm like waving my hands a little and like losing my words just a tiny bit. I'm like,
Yeah.
So I
Nephthys
sky
says,
is big, many look.
Yes, and I'll tell you everything I see in as many words as possible.
Bad eyes, bad eyes.
Raindrop. What if I speak to the shaman? Maybe he would teach me this ritual. And then we could do that another time.
And I cross my little arms very firmly with my many, many sleeves. And I say, Raindrop goes flying, or I give them a gift. And it is very clearly a threat.
So that's a no to the, like, I'll learn it and then we can use it whenever.
I mean, it's just like not at all engaging with your point.
Yeah.
It's like there's no refusal or acceptance. It's just like, that is a separate thing. I am talking about the deal I made.
I think at this
Rules.
point I turn to Nephthys and I say under my breath, "You deal with them."
Yeah, I like.
I hear that. I hear that. I
No,
puff
you
up.
hear it. You hear it. I'm just
I
like,
go
ugh.
down to I
mean,
go
you can
down to
speak
your
for the
level.
shaman.
And
Sorry.
yeah, I go down to
Ashley.
Raindrop's level, and I look you intently in the eyes, and I say, "Raindrops wants to fly. I can throw you."
I just roll my eyes. I pull a thing out of my robes, right? Like a random magical thing. It's part of my arcane bullshit that I get for being a magician.
Mm-hmm.
And I hold it up in front of you, and I'm like, "What see?"
It's a bauble.
Rolls eyes, pulls out another one that looks incredibly similar, but the aura is totally different. What see?
The same bauble.
Bad snake eyes. And then again, it's like the voice of an academic lecturer, and it's like, unless they're stopped, it's like a 2.5 minute long excerpt from a lecture about like the nature of auras and the inability of like most beings to perceive them, and like
I just
very technical jargon.
After about 15 seconds, Iago's eyes just glaze over.
Yeah.
No,
I just leave you to talk. I just slither away.
I think like as like Nephthys slithers away and Iago's eyes glaze over, and I've like sort of like turned my back and I'm doing like nothing in particular, just sort of like standing off into the distance. And like partway through your like rant, I turn back around to you and I say in like a slightly like angry voice, I'm like, Raindrop, it's not about who sees best. It's about the job that Nephthys has. You need to let her do her task.
And again, in like many voices, results inadequate if skills and qualities not matched to job at hand. And then there's a snippet of like a particular like whatever the Sun Tzu of Court of Swords is, right? And like some pithy like philosophy quote that basically is the same thing but fancier.
Mm-hmm. I think Nephthys turns around and like she's like kind of annoyed at this point, and like her
Nephthys
tail's rattling.
can't see magic. And Raindrop just crosses their arms.
And Nephthys says, "I've been doing this for 10 years now. I know what I'm looking for, bird."
I love the like slow eye narrow.
Oh.
I feel like the slow eye narrow is such... Do you want to be?
Okay. How much of an asshole is this bird? This bird is an asshole. Iago's voice says no, and then you hear, "Why didn't you do that 4 hours ago?" And they just turn around and walk off.
Yeah, I think like I put a hand out to Nephthys and I'm like, "Don't worry, they'll cool down."
And they're storming off towards the quartermistress.
Iago being like, wait.
Yeah, this is actually like a Roadrunner cartoon. Is actually what we're playing.
The quartermistress looks up and at Raindrop and is like, "Biscuit."
I think as soon as Raindrop is out of sight,
I peck it out of her hand and spit it in the dirt.
She's like, "You dropped it."
Oathbreaker. See Shaman when?
She's like, "You're seeing the shaman now."
Friends see Shaman. Raindrop see Shaman when?
That's the shaman.
And I think they let out a long,
His name is Merryway.
slow, deliberate sigh. By this point, do we know which tent the trade goods are kept in? Like, I presume that is a thing that we have, like...
Yep.
Yeah, and they just, like, stalk over to it and grab a cheese. And hold it up and point to it.
She's like...
Valuable?
She's like...
And they just cock their head?
She's like... Yeah, she's like, rations are important in the desert.
Rare,
She's like, no one makes cheese like we do.
hard to make.
She's like, she's like, for some.
I am going to cast Infinity's Countless Mirroring reflects 1 into 10,000 and multiply this into 10,000 cheeses.
Man, see, I thought you were doing a really cool thing there where you were like, was this thing rare and difficult to make? Like the sand that I gave you? I'm going to throw it in the sand. I'm going to step on it because that's what you
No. They like make like 10,000 is a metaphor in China. Like it's a fuck ton of cheese. I'm not like it's not literally. I don't. It doesn't have to be literally 10,000 cheese. Like a but right, like 100, 1,000. I don't care.
A many
And then-
of cheese.
Yeah, a fuck ton of cheese. And then they say, what was it she said when they asked if it was rare? Oh yeah, and then in her voice it says, "No one makes cheese like us," and then throws it in the dirt and turns and walks off.
Everyone's like, and everyone like,
And they're going to go, and they go up to the sand skimmer, and they climb up to like the crow's nest, and they perch there, and they turn their back on the Mogwai camp. They're done.
That's what the
these
crow's
people.
nest is for. The crow's nest is for raindrop.
Yeah. It's the fucking.
We
It's
call them the salt
room.
nest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Garuda nest. It's where they go when they want to be angry and alone.
Yeah. Neftis, you're like brought over to this what's what I'm looking for? To the fire with the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and the shaman looks you up and down and says, I don't think he'll need a Brahmin to stand on.
Yeah, she just makes herself really tall.
Yeah. He's like, go, take what you take what you've come for and find what you need.
Yeah, so Nephthys like leans over the pyre and gets like a face full of smoke and like expands out her like crest to like catch as much of it as she can.
Yep. Yeah, and and like this like stinging, oily eucalypt smoke. Yeah, fills your eyes and your nose and like for you probably slides over your tongue. And for a moment you feel like and you're like drifting, like you feel like you're like leaning back a little bit, like when like a car accelerates, you're like you feel like you're getting pulled back, and you feel like you're starting to like pull out of your body. I think it like you have this sensation of like being stuck by your teeth though, like your teeth that aren't leaving your body with the rest of you. You're like and then like and then you kind of like get past it.
Mm-hmm. Is there a roll in here anywhere?
There will be.
Is it a soul roll? Do we get to actually roll soul? Like
Yes, it's
for once ever?
So as you drift upwards into the air, can you please roll soul?
Okay, so I have from my being a monk discipline, again a +1 roll to any roll to resist external influence on your mind or spirit.
Great, excellent, good job.
I mean, will it work if you're resisting?
Well, I rolled a 3 + 1 is a 4. I'm gonna spend my free Dharma to make that a 7 to 9.
Sure, yep, you can do that.
So careless with your future.
So yeah, you drift into the air, and yeah, I feel like your spirit self like spits out some blood, as you from like the from the thing, and you can feel that like you're not as adept at this as the shaman probably is, The shaman seemed to float like a kite. You seem to float like a balloon.
Mm-hmm.
Like just, oh, I'm just going up. I'm just, oh, right. Like, how do I make myself go up slower or stop going up? I don't know.
You with a boat. Just
But yeah, you start drifting up and up and up, and you see more and more of this desert. And like after a while, you can see the edge of the desert that you came in through, where with like where the palms line the river with and like and bless those who harvest them with rich and sustaining fruits. And you can see a part of the desert where there are great gorges carved out through it, like as if some ancient giant had just dug it, like carved into it with a hoe or a similar tool. And then you spot a line a line of black, a little ribbon like a cassette tape laid out across the dunes. It doesn't seem to make any sense. It doesn't follow the lines of the dunes. It goes up and then down, but you see it, and I think you see at one end of it a glinting, something sparkling in the sun. As you're doing so, though, I think you start to realize that you can't fully. You look down, and somewhere down there must be the kobold camp. You've just lost track of it for the moment. It must be down there somewhere.
So I'm gonna stop looking for the kobold camp,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like because I'm now like partially ethereal.
I mean, you're currently like pretty fucking ethereal.
Pretty ethereal. So I'm imagining that my master's spirit must be a stronger beacon for me to like lock onto to find my way back than trying to find a bunch of living kobolds.
Yep. So if you're trying to like find a spiritual beacon, that sounds like a soul roll again.
Yeah. This is all the stuff I'm bad at. But I rolled a 10.
Excellent. Well done. Yeah, you see. Yeah, you. I mean, you feel that weight of the hookah on your back, like just as a familiar memory, and you feel and you like remember your master like scolding you for daydreaming, and yeah, and you can not necessarily see, but you can feel which way it is back to your master. Yeah. You just gotta work out how to get down. You just gotta work out how to get down.
I'm gonna work out how to get down. Yeah, I don't know.
Alas, I have a spell for that if I had not stormed off in a half.
Well,
It's got a name and everything.
Emily and Todd, Sunan and Iago, I think you can hear Nephthys whispering to themselves in their trance.
Okay. I am absolutely going to try to focus and listen, see if I can hear what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I scurrying closer as well.
Yeah, you can both roll it, and we'll see if either of you succeed.
I mean, she's very tall, so her head, where she's whispering, is like way up there.
I mean, you're a
That's
Tautier.
what it
You're like
has.
6.5 feet.
That's true, actually. I'm pretty tall. Yeah. So what is it? Sorry, is it
I think
mind?
this is it mind
Or
or is it
body?
a heart?
Oh, to hear someone, to hear carefully.
To understand someone.
I don't feel like this is understanding. I
Yeah,
feel like this is
cool.
literally
Mind.
being up here.
It's observing, not emotional empathy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm less good at mind, but I don't feel like this is a hard thing.
Yeah, I think if we were trying to communicate back to her after we hear, that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got it though.
Yep. Cool. Excellent. Yeah. So, Neftis, what single sentence does Iago catch from you? Just, I think it's probably on loop.
I like aeroplane jelly.
If only I had wings.
Let's.
And it's just if only I have wings, if only I have wings.
In the meantime, Sunan, you are distracted because there are spirits here.
Ah, okay. How do I perceive them? Or do you want me to tell you that?
I think you can get the feeling. I think you hear them, right? Small little footsteps. They stop and start, as if like trying to avoid being spotted, but very quick, as if eager to take something.
Yeah, that is concerning. I don't think I know quite enough about these kinds of rituals, but I know enough to assume that Nephthys is quite vulnerable at the moment. So
Yeah, you would know that like being out of your body like this is a very dangerous thing.
It's dangerous. Yeah. But I don't really want to. Here's the thing, like, I'm concerned for Nephthys, but like, I would be so hesitant to do any of my stuff like out in the open like this. Like, I wouldn't want to just call them and try to talk to them, because then people would see me do the things, and it's super secret. So I think instead, is the Mogwai shaman still here?
Yes, I think he's got a pipe out, and no, he has a little like flute thing that he's playing to himself on the other side of the fire.
Okay. I think I like sort of sidle up to him and kind of do that thing where I like look at him and wait to see if like he will turn to me.
Yeah, he like glances up to you.
And I sort of say, how long does this usually take? She seems to have been up there for a while.
And he says, sometimes I stay up there for a longer time just to enjoy the view.
I sort of like, I look a little uncomfortable and I kind of like look around and then I like lean right down to him and I say in a whisper, there are many spirits around. I think they have ill intent. I'd like to get her out of there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and he says, if your friend has not practiced the ways of guarding their form, then this is a dangerous task. I think though that it is also dangerous to bring them back to Earth too quickly. This is your choice.
No, I sort of like nod and like look thoughtful, and then I'm like, she does have that skill. I'm sure she knows best. And then I'm just gonna like literally go and like stand back next to the fire because he's been like, does she know how to guard her mind and body? And I'm like, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I just go and stand again and like listen to the spirits walking around.
Yeah.
So,
Iago?
yeah. So I'm just hearing her say, if only I had wings.
Yeah.
All right. So he gets as close as he can. He doesn't want to be like in the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to like get up as close to Nessus as possible. Goes, you don't need wings. We will carry you.
And you definitely hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't necessarily like Ashley doesn't have any ideas.
Yeah, it does feel a little. It does feel a little bit like open-ended. Like I'm not sure what I would do here either, because it's kind of like you can't see anything and are stuck in the air. How do you get down?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
yeah,
like,
you
if
know
this
the
were
way down.
literally stuck in the air, I wouldn't know what to do either.
I mean, that like two thoughts. One, as of canon, right? Like people have two souls, and so give me a moment. I need to check which one's which. The Hun is currently what is flying,
Yeah, and the Poe is.
and the Poe is still down in the body because the Poe is just stuck. Like you could remagnet yourself back together because like part of your soul is still down there.
Mm-hmm.
Alternatively, depending on which 180 field of view of the sky you are flying in, a certain bird may be able to see you. Because right now you are definitely a spirit thing, and I see that shit.
I mean, I feel like maybe this is within the realms of your monk teaching. If it's a case of like bringing your mind and body back together, that
Yeah,
seems like
yeah,
a thing monks
yeah.
would.
Yeah, like
No?
recombining my.
Yeah. I do
The
think
Yeah.
that's a
My
soul
soul.
roll. Because it's still like it's getting a hold of your own magical self. It's controlling your Hun.
Yeah, it's body to let go of the Hun, its soul to
Kinda,
bring
yeah.
it back. Yeah.
So you can try and just guide yourself down.
Okay, what am I rolling? Sorry.
Soul.
Soul. Nope.
Friend, you are having the roughest time.
This
Yeah.
is not going well for me.
Yeah. You're now aware of the fact that where you are, there is not air.
Oh.
So can I suggest a thing? Like, I wonder if a bunch of time passes here.
Yes.
Because if a bunch of time passes, then I think like there are some actions that I would try to take, but I wouldn't try to take them until
let's do
later.
that.
But I don't know whether anyone else wants to do anything urgently.
Yeah. No, I think just
I
you
mean,
can do-
I think if more than like
Like an hour or something.
if more than 5 or 10 minutes passes, I think Raindrop is done with their tantrum
Yeah, I was gonna
and they
say.
calm down.
Yeah. I like that. That's the way it usually goes.
Yeah, right. Like this is we've seen this before. This is what happens. They get huffy. They do something. They have a dumb magical temper tantrum. They fuck off for 10 minutes. They come back much calmer and like as though they don't even remember anything happening.
Yeah.
And so I think
Right.
So much
Like a kid.
Raindrop just like returns to
Yeah. Excellent.
and like remembers what happened, but like that's the past. It happened. It was like a whole 10 minutes ago, and
Exactly.
just like wanders over to like where y'all are, just and is just like kind of looking around and like checking shit out.
And I
And
think
is
I say like, welcome back, Raindrop. And like in a totally like neutral voice, as though as though we hadn't had any
Okay.
kind of like tension, because I feel like this is like a thing that we're all used to.
Yeah, and I like smile and nod. And I cock my head and look at Nephthys.
And oh yeah, sorry, go on.
So like, I'm matching her. If only I had wings with, then let us carry you. Like, matching it like phrase to phrase.
Yeah.
Looking up Ash, can I is Nephthys within view?
Yes.
Yeah, I imagine
actually
I've just
I
gone
actually
straight
think I
up.
want Todd to roll. I think I want Iago to roll heart first.
To see if he's called her back closer.
Yeah,
I love it.
literally that.
That's very gay. I'm into it.
Yep.
8.
Yeah. So yeah, there's this.
Is Iago starting to go out of his body after her?
No, what's happening is that you can pull on your on that thread of those words, Nephthys, and you can like use it as like a rope to like pull yourself down. As you're doing so, you start feeling pins and needles in like I think it starts in like your Achilles, what would be your snake Achilles tendons, and then you feel it in like your shoulder blades and in the corners of your wrists and
Your snake Achilles tendon.
Oh my god. And then like and then in like the corner of your the corners of your jaw, and it's kind of expanding out from these places going through your armpits and whatnot, this sense of like
so now I have something to like latch onto. I feel this is where like my my monk training, because I can move faster and more powerful in like my physical form, I could like pull myself down faster than a normal person could.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. No, and you do that. You focus and you and yeah. So I think what we see is that you pull yourself down and you're like a couple of meters above your body, and you see all of these little like hot red little impish creatures with like with just bobble like they don't have any faces, they just have like a bobble for a head. They have like big little big claws on the ends of their tiny little hands, and you can see them like clawing into your body at the back of your neck and under your arm, at all of these places of transition in your body. And you're like and I think people who see spirit stuff or perceive spirit stuff can probably be aware of this happening. And yeah, you're like, shit, how am I going to get back in there without them like taking bits of my spirit as well?
Can I drag them into the physical world?
Yeah, that would be a soul roll. Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try and do that.
All right.
Because then I can deal with them.
That's great. I like it.
Do I get my +1 from my discipline ability
Yes, 100%.
here?
Yep.
That is the that is the third 3 I rolled.
All right.
Yeah, you can see Raindrop. You can see that Nephthys is like trying to like climb into her body, but these things that had been squatting, or trying to squat, are like, oh great, something to eat as well.
I like Raindrop is now thoroughly like bored and over this. And just again, there's like this long gusty sigh. Why didn't you do that 4 hours ago? And then they look at Sunan, and they say, and they point in the direction of Nephthys's body and do like a like vague gesturing motion to like make it clear that they're not talking like literally about Nephthys. And they're like, talk with those. Make them come to you, not to her. I will fix her. And they just walk over and stand next to her and like are like clearly like ready to do a spell.
Okay. So I like say sort of so that Raindrop definitely hears me. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And then I just like walk off into a tent.
Yeah, totally, right? Like,
I just go away from everyone into an empty tent. And
What are you offering spirits to draw them near?
they want to eat something. They're hungry, right?
They want shelter and food. Yes.
There happens to be thousands of cheeses.
I mean, yeah, it's true, but they don't
food,
eat that, do
Yeah,
they?
they're spirits. They want
They
they want a
food.
physical thing to hide inside of, and a spiritual thing to eat.
a cheese.
I did a cheese.
It's half the problem
What is
solved.
this?
Then you just need to find a ghost they can eat.
A ghost cheese. Murder the cheeses, and then no, sorry, and then send them into the spirit realm.
Excellent plan.
Okay. Gee, ugh.
I mean,
Alright.
like, if you just have one of those really good, they'll go for it.
If I have one of those things really good.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Let
Oh,
them eat
dang.
part of your ghost. Give them your arm. You don't need it.
No. There's a.
I mean, give them another cow.
No. Do I know anything about these creatures and like how no, okay, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I mean,
because that would
they're effectively like tiny Mara, right? They're little like lava
Yeah.
Mara.
Okay. No, I wouldn't do that thing. It would be bad for my work. So it's gonna be like there is literally a dead body in the vicinity. But I wouldn't do that because I wouldn't want anyone to spread rumors about how I was bad at death rituals.
I mean, there's also a dead cow body in the area.
There is a dead cow body. That's true. That I would be fine with because I don't like the.
I mean, that wasn't part of the deal, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. And the Mogwai wouldn't necessarily like. They would just think that was just weird Mara stuff. Yep, cool. So I like lead them over to the cow, and I'm like,
Yeah. What do you do on the to the
Where is
the
this?
butchered cow to show that it is for them?
I think there is. I think there is a specific ritual for this, and it's like super dark. I think it is like
And
definitely. Yeah, exactly. Dark and edgy. I think it is definitely like blood magic of some kind. But I think like there is what card would this be associated with? Oh, is it the devil? It might
yeah,
be the devil.
I was about to
The
say.
devil.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that there is like that basically there are like certain gestures that you would do that are like.
Well, actually, if it's a
Is-
Mara thing,
Yeah.
there specifically isn't a card related to it
Oh,
because the
right.
Mara and the Arcana are like anathema to one another.
Yeah.
True. So there isn't. Okay, so I think that there are totally unrelated. Like there are some gestures. There are like sigils that you draw in. Like you take your like own blood.
It's
And
the
I think also
opposite
like
of the devil. It's like
Yeah.
it's the reversed sigils.
Damon.
Yeah. I think you have to like take like your blood and also like spit or something. Like this has to be something that's kind of like a less
The Hun and
dramatic,
the Ho.
sort of gross.
Yeah.
And you draw these like these kind of like reversed like symbols in the air above the thing, and it's a ritual for like inviting the Mara into something. So it's like a super taboo. Like you don't. It's a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
But I know it. So I just like make sure the cow is out of sight of everyone.
Yeah.
And then do this.
Yeah.
God, your character is so shady. Jesus.
Yeah.
All of these little figures just like somersault and tumble out of the body, and like it doesn't occur to them to just walk anywhere. Yeah, and some of them like leapfrog on like hands and feet, and some of them like just somersault the entire way there. But yeah, they leave the body.
So once they're all gone, I give it like 10 seconds to see if Nephthys is gonna like get her shit together and do it herself. And if she isn't back in her body by then, I get impatient.
Yeah, I've been rolling so badly, I'm not even going to try again.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna spend one hold and I'm gonna cast a spell.
What's the spell called?
This spell is called Kuan Yin's Rejoining of Han and Po.
Yep.
Nice.
It is a classical spell. It has 2 uses. 1, situations like this. 2, bad spoopy haunty ghosts. Which, because you can use it to put a ghost in its body with its Po.
Yeah.
And then you can just destroy the body and the ghost fucks off. And like the ghost is gone, right? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it just like it what it does is it like reunites someone's Han and Po, like the Han and Po of a body touched. It's a very simple spell.
I'm spinning a hold, but I'm not saying what's happening.
That's fair.
Great.
Yep.
Look, I'm doing my best.
Yep. So
It's not my fault that you can't roll well.
Nephthys, you're back in your body. And I think we should take a break.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a good plan?
Yes.
All right. Cool. We will. Sorry, Nephthys. What's your reaction to being back in your body?
She vomits.
Oh,
Does any get on Raindrop?
Yes, obviously.
Almost definitely.
Yeah. They're very upset with you.
Yep.
They just like start scolding you in the voice of so I'm imagining, at least, right? Because the Great University is like practically the size of a whole fucking like district of the city of Brass, right? Like people live there. It's like the voice of the old schoolmaster who ran the dormitory for the youngest students. And whenever they like did a dumb prank and made a huge mess, there was this specific lecture he would give them. And it's just that lecture as they like desperately try and like wipe it off. It's just disgusting, and they're very upset.
Yep. Nice.
They put you back in your body, and this is the thanks they get.
All right. So yeah, we go to break on Raindrop fussing about having been vomited on, and we'll be back shortly.